94.7 Asempa FM Sony Ekosiisen Jumedi no Masugu so a mutie no. We've done some 17 minutes after 6 in studio. Atik Mohammed and Honorable Stephen Amua, popularly known as Sticker Wahamidi Yosei Bonsu. And the Mekone Honafe yeti on the submission on the Agric Minister and Koma and Edi. Yes, Honorable.
Midase na me de economy ne ketua bia wo so na madwane akọ mechia yetiefo nyina mechia
omoje wo so pa
bia titru nhye so for adehye nhye so adehye mechia obia nyame nhyiram nyame ya adoma enche mehumo yes your parliament ya no ye in fact ye hyamani monyam bia amodem bae no obia di adanse nyame nhyiram me pa cho
Mamenya birthday dedication when I remember. Okay. Happy birthday to Lieutenant Kofi Osei Wusu, Ghana Military Police, our Burma Camp. Happy birthday, International Like, my hero. On this special day of yours, I wish you God's blessings and favor in all you do. Nana says, happy birthday, my superhero. Nana says, happy birthday, my first love. And this is from Mrs. Juliet. So lawyer Mrs. Juliet Oseiwusu, Osinikno Lieutenant Kofi Oseiwusu, anyway, with our Ghana Military Police, I'm told the show you listen to in this life, Ekosiisen, and you listen to us every day. And as we speak, you are listening in the Lieutenant Kofi Oseiwusu of the Ghana Military Police Burma Camp. Happy birthday to you. We wish you well. We hope that you live to be 94.7 and beyond. Oyerese Odo Brutal. And we wish you well. Thank you and God bless you. We say Obi. Same happy birthday to Kenansa. Kenansa was my senior in school. He was actually my house prefect. Oh, okay. Wow, that's nice. And thank you for coming through with this one. Ken is celebrating his birthday today. Enti Stega mebacho twaso.
Minua. Say me kan me chia atiefo nyina.
Asempa FM.
Edin kan. Minua tika kasa bebre. Efa nsema minister kan no.
Okay.
Na say farm input no enyem yenu pe. In fact, ekobe edu. Ebinum kra wo niam kakra ka ho. Ebi ye aduaba na okan no. Ebi ye fertilizer. Your pesticides. Agric input. In fact, the minister was talking about agric input. Your veterinary drugs or the mo akra ka ho. Mo an kan kra equipment. Your processing plant. Your machinery and energy.
Asempa FM 94.
Sanyama we num nyina no. Farm input. And yama me kai 9900% yakra ni nyina. And they have direct impact in terms of price. And yama be farm input amaka ebe edui ni nyina yakra. So if global supply chain is affected, see at the yama free man no amanano ba adia omoje $4,000, $2,000. Say omoji be $14,000. Mo pa mo nso obi ochira no onko temahabo. Semeboa. Eti saniema we buo no. Before abeduru ampo ya de be afu adwuma no. Price na yede akoso. Ena price so de a ripple effect and as a transferable. Meaning say they make at yes.
Me too pa.
2. Eniema ya disusu aduane buo no. Enhwehwemu amaye ebi anam enhwehwemu na antoyi be no kra grapes ni niema bebre ya krefri amana no eka ho. So it's not only limited to even locally produced food and our produce. What do you say? No, you can food inflation basket no grapes almost grapes in aka ho.
Yeah, recent one the grapes.
Grapes in aka ho. Which means inflation of food de ba no. And yema import no e play key role. And sana exchange rate so affect no. You see, obika se o hawa ba ho kira ba. Me ne ya adwen. Dia me ne nkrofo nya adwen se Sad diversionary tactics because of politics. See, another microphone, as if says, BB specifically any onion year or Ghana. No, it is never true. Entina in managing risk, obi higher risk management de biano. Say, Sabi Mr. Usian ye and I train ye. Your dear friend, systematic risk factors. And you are unsystematic. Systematic, Obronis and yet diversifiable. And yet diversifiable. You can't diversify. Something you can't diversify means that system and a wound mean your home share. I know. Mabacha ote the mechanism. You see, we have to find good in a boy dear. Kakra obey will be our taxes. You see, we have to come about my supply chain. I affected the whole world. Oh, crowd near me in every man. About 70 to 80% of Ghana, adia ye die yeshe, the idea de dem yaka, BBI yakra, a damn high team a living sample. It is a BBC now affect oh man. You can't do anything about it. Oh, the and no ato in China. Bibi ba na me nuano friend free market economy. 100% ampa. But I know me more problems with it. We don't have to practice absolute free market economy. It's wrong for us.
Really?
Of course. We need to practice the friend of mixed market economy. Where there will be oligopoly, monopoly, and cartel. They distort market prices unreasonably and unproductively. And it can affect our inflation. I was saying on minor ultimately developing the friend of price cap for these areas because of profiteering. Profiteering is one of the problems in our country, which is a fact. And say a minor, I thought that models theories in a free baby, no thought that yan here to suit you and this is not by NDC or MPP. And on my how. So Obi and Kwana control over idea we are. What do you 1 billion? Germany, Ukraine, and minimum. A few years back, they were practicing those things where the system was set price cap for oligopoly, monopoly, and cartel. Sanya among distorted market, so that others now there seem to be quite equilibrium. No, the market forces decide. Me, they be say me authority. Even treasury bills, commission. Treasury bills. Within 1 year, a movie from 12% to about 24%. Nowhere in the world, no matter the market force, there could be kululu. Ubehuno, nani pebina, omoto kesia all the time. So they are deciding, influencing, no be the connection, no minor bread. You see, there are a lot of things that sometimes can't be answered. Many evidence with respect to what I'm saying, but I think there's possibility it needs to be investigated because the trend and the changing and normal. It doesn't matter what the market is. And there's a central government, a market forces.
Of their
open market government does not just wake up and say today 20%, 2%. Even that other in our
central bank.
And I'm here who said, or maybe an economy, no, you're managing here. Treasury bill may return more than fixed deposits because treasury bills are risk free.
Yes, because it's a government security.
Fixed deposits, yes, risk free.
No. Because it's government security.
And of course, but the Americans say air is free. No, it's supposed to give you lower returns. Now, say I buy a bobusia at a higher rate than private sector, and that's why most of the banks in Ghana they give their money to the government. But governments do not create value chains to employ people. In fact, your problem all Ghana can see a power bakuni. My cousin we are testing formulas. I did a price some of our securities. Existing one from 1964, 76, 97, 2015. Now proving not to be good pointers for Ghana. But developing new model, nobody wants to listen.
They're part of a PhD thesis.
I'm telling you, and this is a fact. It's tested, examined by Canadian, Ghanaian, and Pakistani professors. Apart from formula and channel, I buy a bobosia no my interest in Sihokesia. Bank better than Sikabebro. So the better there, any interest rate will always be double digit. And that's why Ghana, whether government A or B, my friend will say a double-digit interest rate economy. We can never compete with any system. And there are a lot of fundamentals, and they all go into affecting our inflationary rate that we need to work on as a government. What the BB to say? You're trying to say, sorry, food prices you are making. On mine to say Ghana, food shouldn't be a problem, whether NDC or MPP. The only problem we have ɛyɛ nneɛma bɛɛ mmiɛnsa. One, aban na nkasa no ɔntumi design tailor-made policies. Owia, your private sector actors, they are not efficient enough. Respectfully, I'm not insulting them. All the upper man, this NPP mra. On my private sector, nipa 1,000 will be $1 million. Aban si one yinsi home after 4 years, one family. After 1 year, most of them scan machine. Some boy, opa ko check it. Whether on the NDC or MPP, nipa do mu loans, small loans, big loans, opa ko check it. Aban no wadwem power mu lo adentia. Your private sector hano. They have not created from embryonic stage value chains, proper businesses with operations, managing labor, cash inflows out, managing taxes. No. Duduanano, on your bank government contract, on your timber concession, on your loan this, connection or craniama one CB. Into your economy, no have private sector, no, and you're sustainable. 1, 2, into me employ a lot of people. 3, BBC kakrebia no muchiro. So government or person yes successful no. To say they are nanado no open ya where 1D 1F no. What we should have done additionally was to make sure say we partner private sector in a way that even first 2, 3 years or 4 years now this will be part of managing the homo project. So I'm going to make a consultant say KPNG no to help and manage Sikano and your human go German or how many private sector actors in Ghana? And before I enter next year or trust certain in next year budget. A containing revenue expected, expenditure expected, and every month or 3 months or home and was energy crime spending more on me essay, my staff, my essay, and Yama will continuously increase you and I'm so how many of them?
Multimedia,
and they are making me say how many?
How many? Okay.
They are making me say how many? And the American say we have a lot of problems, even areas we have competitive advantage. And infrastructure is also a problem. Look, when you have dilapidated infrastructure, one of the things it does is that it poses a grave threat to human life, and it stifles economic potentials. Because we need infrastructure, what can you do? Ediane, Chrome, Crofo, mango, orange, no more chegu. Bebre opa yefoni. Because edu bumper season as whatever na harvest yina. Or tiboto bebre or potato seed is na pro. Because the system has not helped enough to create the entire value chain where we have sat down to have the right data to decide. Say, we consume a 1,000 tons of orange, whatever a year. We can export this. We've already made arrangement with the countries. We could Dubai. Pomo pegana koduno. Millionaire power operating hundreds of millions of dollar project. I say French in even have travel water region have baby. And where do you koduno export to Dubai?
UK. I've seen.
And what I'm trying to say is that it is time we sat down to redesign the entire value chains of these competitive. Neither in Ghana.
But Nioma okay, Stika.
Food and agri minister. And
agri minister
exactly.
say on him. Non on him areas are why ejuma.
Why
ejuma
FAO boss.
No, but it tells you that there's failure in that ministry.
But agri minister alone cannot do this. Even the government alone, look, agri minister can be so TNR, and it's perfectly true. Untimin translate a ban unko dian kanche mamuni. Private sector. Your private sector no so no. Minka so mu nyina anye. But do na nya strong. Enti wo mani sika. Look, 1D 1F. Enkrofo bebre a omoji loan. Aban bu omo support omoji cheap loan and ne bebre omo shiska. I'm being very honest with you.
Under 1D 1F.
Oh, massa.
Even with a consultancy service.
Oh, massa. Is
that a statement of fact?
What
that I can quote you.
May say.
No, I'm not sure.
I need to be sure.
So go and do your research.
No, and I'm asking, is it a statement of fact?
No, it cannot be a statement.
Okay.
Look.
Osi is not a statement of fact.
Sabi. Nya say nyina betu makanabonti. Ba be say kwasechi. So my J bank no so matua.
That's not repayment period. They be and so.
Okay.
And I swap.
Oh, they meant to us.
No, I want to be so I can quote him. Because I do
Aban ayana said ye. Aka private sector. Look, NPL, non-performing loans. Ubisa am say matter of banks in Kubisa. Even with that one, do one FSM.
Oh, as for no dear.
Then you the same day alone. But this one, government with its best ideas supported them, helped them to get something, maybe concessionary loan, maybe a boom. Yet they are defaulting, and they are not completing their value chains. They are not producing. A few of them will produce. And when your government fault, you cannot say buying and I said yeah. So the point I'm making is that the private sector and the system should also help our buying policies proper to say they agree, because agreement means our buying. Look, me need trouble so be wa be onim the oil, but in building society no onkuane o system no enti no ya no value chains are made up of segments. So one segment kura anya efficient, you are in trouble. Share a sugar cane factory. What happened? I didn't see it. You say yenya say raw materials apart from litigation issues, contractual issues near the no quantity of sugar cram machine here to feed the capacity no say near see yenya. It before you be see some machine you be say any be no. What was the value chain? The inbound on the constituting raw materials. Idea now we put in place who say idea would be no one make provision for producing the raw materials and then meet the way you understand. You see, maybe you say, Friday you cry say, starch. Me need primary information, so I could be wrong. But information me and say, starch you produce you know, what test starch content na. And meet approach standard no bit
stick on this one there.
And also that chair, me the way that is. And now local market no so you say we turn and boa no. Obi the local market onye sika say de ye na to for production. Me wan kasa na into so.
No, let me because I've worked on the factory the company now.
Yes sir.
No, no correct because your starch no a premium starch only in an AC when they produce no more the Netherlands other countries other companies or more then they bag in starch no with more labels no more ton because machine could afford to buy a check until it got to a point now it wasn't efficient anymore so instead of
starch near do no bunch now content in the starch
no I'm saying no more process here it gives you the starch in fact it got to a point Sebi some of the beverage companies in Ghana, like food companies in Ghana, they fufu some of them no more top starch no craft from eho.
But no more the local marketers no. Na yeso mo the bunch no ko hwa. Ye turn a boa no so sense and ye turn for the factory. So they decided not to even now so divert.
No more farmers no they had their farmers. Yes. They had omo farmers.
Let me tell you.
Maybe if you've been to the factory before.
Instead say omo de cassava ne beba no. I'm diverted because local market because now how
the same thing with sugar cane.
Obi, wait dear.
So
the reason, sorry,
no problem. So
I have been to the factory before because of some of these issues. Ukowa, it is rather the opposite, which is true because farmers need to breed your more foam no at the production to feed the factory. But essence na factory no egu because government decided not to pay attention. What do you say at home?
Government decided not to pay attention.
No, me kaba no. Okay. Oh, you see.
It's not okay. It's not so.
You not even wait for me. You not even wait for me.
Because government decide not to pay attention.
Can you wait and listen to me?
Government.
When a government A or B,
I say my okay, you wait and listen to me. No, let me just wait. So what they did, they say.
I have to go. Who they finish?
Who they kasa?
I think for no see
because essence say government didn't pay attention, and instead of say you better replace machinery, no.
Anyway,
you toma obi min percent me born it, but it belongs just one under NDC. But I say Aban is a continuum, and say yeah. But government sold it to a private entity. When you na a say we replace the machinery. That's all we needed to do. And na nipa no toy no. When in fact, the person even breached the contract of, the sale contract nipa ni breachy because no so 2 years no up to a certain point when tua anti farmers ni na no mo feed we no sisi o me jai ejuma no
when
now it's not working.
it's when you ejuma
even the machine can fit into what I'm saying when him mama ene me nua make be a chiro say opeso your project the obroni friend of value chain and the crowd they use value system or value network because the external factors so can say if you are not able to design it well, forget. Even machine cry atik you can. So designing here, the type of machine will be using, the functional life, the maintenance policy requirement in your. So before you even import that machine, you know some machine will averagely about 10 to 25 years. You factor that into your projections. Certified by good engineers. The minimum said they make out to us. A value chain na yenye ni ye no, and also no any higher yen and ye no call, and you be no other expertise. Obia only a experience in strategic management and it's our production, yeah man. What did Mbako to on Timin yet? Because Obia value chain, no. First, you are say, Assassi a diaso, se cassavo, say, sugar cane. Obama ya test even content and nutrients elements and who say elements are particular plant way here no ewom. Secondly, Obama ya dua bi was so attested we wie onim say o asase e bi a 10,000 hectares e betimi grow this amount of cassava or sugarcane e be meet the capacity of machine na ya dey ba no tie ni o machine no betimi di 25 years you be produce this quantity averagely a year. It's about 10 years time. Every segment of the value chain, say from year etutu achucha aye, you know, nipa say per acre per 10 acres. Sano bruni no juma. Enti the failure rate, you know, very low. Okay, no was a sibi wa mampong bobbing. A sopa na me China for a business. Near see a deer, you see a deer, you be grass, special grass be a Mwawi or US in China. My partners in the catch me say, one, take temperature on the land for 6 months. I'm telling you. At the same time, choose the party be randomly. Every grass in the also. Every aqua China test it say M1 do omu dini bia. When come value chain cry home by you? A Ghana and Kakasa grass would call US a year assassin ye. It's what I'm saying is that some of the policies are perfect, whether under government A or B. But I'm begging our people and everyone in Ghana, before you roll out, define the vehicle. Once I brought you to shop, you do it yourself. DIY. What folly treat an app? Unko screw, wako screw, oya capinto, onya capinto, ubet mashe. Adentia. Bibia will people no so. Sign every policy. In fact, other places quite their friend policy drill. Or test the system, not sure reactions. Say, I deal when or pass wire. Quantity abenya free baby, unyasasi abenya free. So tracks are ube issue. Nipado do abe here and we inbound to abegum affair operations. One we here no machine do send here. Labor send abe juma. Is it day and night? Work rate yes and why nyina. And san administration na ombe ho adwuma. IT for ebi a finance. Afe na ko outbound the marketing. Send na bi turn ho na beto. Nipado do send what test here. Afe segment be a risk be na ya possible. Assassin in Su and Tanya, dear irrigation. Irrigation 2 years no, Obroni can give you cost per unit of Adiana. What factor we in to it? And then exporting raw materials. A year for no. Now you're tough finished goods and free broche and a board team. Obroni factor, pricing factor, no profitability analysis. Each segment, what is same. And 1 year on Famrano, I did call $1 and was at the brand 10,000. And that is why, as a country, our major difficulty is our inability to design properly connected chain between our primary products or produce and the finished goods. Here any nimdia yanyanka mango pineapple yamfa machine yamfa a broke a crown sauce preservative fa huboto mu here school po menam kachero. It doesn't mean in school asase ho. We need to do that. Dear tissue. Ye nuanom asantefo ne angonafo boys ne sraka a bi kura nko school kura said ye maame nko school hwe adwuma mu ye wo hu a ebi in terms of durability any bia ne sharpness crack ka no kura no mu ya ade eti ade esa aban ye simple me aban a makofa Italians yibi abakrom ha
that is how we are buying
1 year oh say me pacho me aban ende no kra but obia on the field no authority your jurisdiction what you say
yes
eti me aban a makofa Italians yaba regi bia ma fa ni per 50 machines e pese yakofa ya be train wo mu enia e seize of forestry enko ba bia biem the export enko biem aban adwuma bia wa Ghana school ani ho anyina untimi nto bibia mfra bochire ko ye wood ni ya papa how much are we spending on wood products in Ghana when no manya nimdie huhu bi say we here rocket science this where ye cheap side ni mpo what you say entina ba we ye bibi fa data data is it NIA National Identification Exercise and it's our addressing system no
yes
the most basic and the most important thing to develop any resilient economy I'm a niche home but then what I'm trying to say is that our comparative advantage agriculture the minister to me is doing so much work but I think as a country we should be able to sit down pick about 7-10 areas of importance in terms of domestic consumption and export. Ni design chain ye entimi kura hu se benya $5 billion the next 5 years and the calculation plus or minus 2%. We can. Enye sabi ye mu bebrade esu enu ani. Modeling policies. Because adie bia wontimi attach figures to it, wontimi measure no. You cannot be successful.
Yeah.
When you are failing, you don't know. When you are passing, you don't really know. You cannot anticipate the possible risk factors that will be dysfunctional to the performance of what you are doing and destroy the value chain. And so we design BBA and San Wakum.
What started?
BBA. So it becomes a benchmark. What do you say? I think that woman ma call loan no kakra. Na me be sa me ko. Zabunye oh. Ono ba me ko ma loan. Me na me wa bem, me na mo abem. Ma me nka loan. Zabi ya na yakwaji loan ti ma me nkasa. As obi a me wa bem no ono aba. Baba loan na yakwaji no. So wo hwa. Oman bia no, uhia revenue. And I unima.
Yes.
Aban ebinum je say 7 mesreka o. Aban peso e bibi obetuma ni wiase. Ente sa. Senya utifia opeso otade uhia sika no. Sa na aban de eti. Na aban no uyi niam nketinkiti bi twenchen. Niam akese mienu. Ena ma aban timi nya sika ye bibi. De edi nkan e to. Tax. E wiase nyina. De atoso mienu e bosia. Na tax no betimi agege a. How well your economy is doing. And that's why me talk about taxation, economy, and crowd chain and see money. Say to me a lot of production, a lot of people pay tax. Ghana, just about 2 million out of about 31 million. And I said that you are direct tax, say, it be an income tax head director, and will be to me, you be intimate function. A capa. Our effective tax rate is negative. Effective tax rate, they say, Sika buying at the of my house was spending on households. We divide them each of them. Sika aban ho a enye bosiabo.
Yes.
We divide it by each householder. They aban ho ni swase de eko. Nti no originally whether COVID or no COVID, whether government A or B, our effective tax rate is negative. And that is why generally a running deficit. And the so when we have situation as COVID, and war next time worsen your situation now. About 18 months yenya impaired productivity. Adwuma call memu say whether ope umpo e no kore. Edu baby cry yesi mo bi akora nko. Edu baby yesi nipa 5 for 2 nko. Edu baby yesi say for 18 months once you get impaired productivity, which is the number one function of economic growth, your GDP will not grow. And when we are seeing in our can say we are GDP never grow negative 3.3. So abakaya that year no MPP are buying Ghana it grow 0.4. But government was still committing itself to spending because the obligations and statutory requirements. It has oko it just ukrom na jeje eto na BBSC entie nyeye but ukrom for eso omudidi omu nsuo solite it will bobosia na the esa anema no. So your debt to GDP will always be high because GDP na engrow adio professor bien wo wiase betima dia chiniwe This is Ghana and Crofo propaganda. On Crofo Mabedo of Wayne. Private sector, nipa over 40,000 a day. Omu pay ye corporate tax in our coffer. Omu Yamo Matum Pony in our coffer. It's your hotel. And now by we realize it say. And the world business in a call ye business. And the impaired opportunity be okay, yan come here with ye tax. And them say NDC strength, you know. And yet the air pay of parliament, you know. Omu proceed for 6 months. I bring your quan pass and not Ghana for ye levy. Until I not successful. And that is why we are saying that deciding to go back to here, IMF no maintain Crofwase. When was what Ghana ha? Then you fi me. I will see so on teams are dear men and I may assassin agenda. Bible crash over Cassian and Sassan again. Because Bible patches say, wait to make a be to me see I saw Sassan again, just one answer. But the point I'm making is that your levels if we be pecking order. Uja way na mwawa, uko another one. Now benefit say wait my taxes. Ni inquire me IMF you good but more conditionalities. And a tax is so opposition in Ghana for trouble in fact NDC no can people so be say can correct. And I'm successful. So government has no other option to go for IMF. But IMF cannot solve all our problems.
Okay.
Yeah, what infrastructural needs that we need to commit ourselves to into a long way. ABC salary, ABC ni fake. Yeah, but parliament they approve yenim. Kumasen Krakwan eka ho. Eastern corridors eka ho. Swami interchange eka ho. And near they are basically energy sector, infrastructural needs. The basis and basically they are the strength of any resilient economy in terms of long-term economic growth and stability. What we are doing, but of course that's why we call something uncertainty. Something can happen area or be a movie, so we accept say there's hardship.
Okay.
And Crawford Bobo Siambebre number 2. Productivity akofom, GDP akofom, ANT, your shortfalls, a movie about 12-11 billion there about. Yenti minyeje tax, yemeni pangu. ABC interest payments, and yan ba we nkwana giyo. A cumulative because obiti miji loan 5-10 years time and anebe mature. And the interest rate ayeti aneno. And yan ba we nkwana abobosiyan. Aye bosia ya bobo and be a drew. What we need to do as a country is to accept the weaknesses and the anomalies in our fundamentals. Now we build this country, we define our corporate focus. Say, yene, bibi to say, diaba, niyaho niyama die. Even, oh, you understand what I'm saying? And yet you be penso about Bosnia. Who to us say, or how metal, so now, what's about Bosnia? But so obey who, not come dinner. No, be to my Bosnia, because Bosnia may born me, but you just said they be to America.
I think your point is well made. Yeah,
I mean, sure, why?
Now, or say, oh, baby, who are your Bobisian? No, me that's it. And this happens to the now a month for like that scenario didn't work. No, me but you see, Marty, me that's it. You see, Bisian body. Oh, I'm just making a point. Oh. No, it's analogy is applicable. And your principle is limited to only MPP. Would they where we me pachoko? Me that's it. Me na me bo. Me na me boy. Me minka. Minka say me comparison. Mati. Oh, say Bisian bo way. Government has to. Oh, that is. Oh, what can say you then away? Obi, what say? It's very funny. Say, Drew MPP for so dia. Oh, Busia body say ebo na yamboa ebe de ebo ama o man no. The question I maybe some who say there are two ways government finance the budget, either through taxes and say taxes no so na wakobo bisia. And Ubo Bisiana, it leads to the accumulation of debt. Obianka say aban bia ni ho a ensese aban bia ebo Bisiana. No. Because we share government's expenditures, there are demands on government say yes. Inti government's tax and non-tax revenue nkwa entimi emboa by money nye the kinds of expenditures on person you know ntimprempi no so it creates a deficit and to finance the deficit you have to go and borrow unti bisia body obi aban bia bobi US obi I mean there's no government that doesn't borrow nemum idea a friend debt sustainability that is what guides your actions when it comes to borrowing uko bobisia now accumulated debt na a bedroom rebino sa kano it becomes unsustainable because your debt burden increases and sa pempensue na yedri in fact yedri sa pempensue kra nyenne enye before even COVID because na ye bobisia no too much it got to a point aban we became addicted to loans. They became loan addicts. They became debt addicts. What is here? Nti ye bobisia no kra na ye ni age when they go to float sovereign bonds, Eurobond in particular. Now when they do the road shows, now there are oversubscriptions are. Now man for bosse or move jubilate uko boka na se aman for abe to kan e man burusu na we ni age. Kan hu ni se ne uye hu wonsonso o because you can enya wodia you are borrowing so you are going to pay at the end of the day. But the temporary receipts now omunya no enu na ya oh no money age and sometimes they sell the bonds at very unreasonable coupon rates. Yes. In fact, you can say the last one now Omuko in 2021 March DA. They claim that there was a component of sa bonds now muton you know and a zero coupon bond. But the funny thing about it is I think it was around $500 million there about sa zero coupon bonds no muton you know. But the tenure of sad bond no is shorter. Already there is pressure on government to service existing debt. Nti uko GBC na uko term bonds na wosi a zero coupon. Nti amortization nkwa na abetua. Nemom the maturation and the maturity period is very shorter. It adds to your pressure already. Already aban bobisia sometimes to restructure debt nibi. I say aban ko bobisia to come and retire maturing debts so that you know no hu ban hard nisa anyman. So you borrow to extend your obligations no at least ubenya time to manage we economy ne kakra. But at the end of the day ne omuko ye omuko nya bonds bia edi pressure ebe ka omo ho ana ebe to omo so. But enu ndanchen we kept saying say look the rate at which government is borrowing no ma debt burden no kosoro because your debt to GDP is increasing. Omugazo they were doing smart borrowing. There is nothing like smart borrowing. In so long as it's not concessional borrowing nkwa dia. And nemre aminu kasei. Baby you can ICM uko international capital markets honum na. There is nothing like concessional lending. Yeah. Even IMF and nemre kra they have moved away from concessional lending to countries like Ghana. There's no way you can borrow at interest-free rates. Conditions are very favorable to you. Until there's nothing like smart borrowing. Borrowing, because at the end of the day, it adds to your debt. They are doing smart borrowing. And already already you are debt distressed too. Baby Edri, our debts are no longer sustainable because a greater percentage of your tax revenues go into servicing debts. So the debt burden has increased. Until IMF no. You go to IMF when you are faced with one or multiple or combination of three factors: fiscal crisis, BOP crisis, and a financial crisis. Ghana is here. We are suffering from two: fiscal crisis and BOP crisis. How we are not managing our deficits. And because we are recording higher deficits, we are financing the deficits by borrowing more. And instead of you to, and look, when you are in such crisis, especially fiscal crisis, there are two things you do. Either by increasing revenue, which as we speak, and you're very feasible, to be able to cover the gap you're creating. Increasing revenues, because our taxes are, we are cancelling tax instruments. Toes are na yejiji wo kwansui yesi yentwem because e-levy be ba minti bi da say one tax handle is more potent to the extent that you sacrifice easy receipts sika ubenya abra umbre yen cancel no because you see the e-levy eba nti kakra na ye free honum no ye lose ave e-levy too hasn't delivered. And as far as tax revenue goes no yentimi nya dodo to be able to meet your expenditure needs. Nti the other option is to cut down expenditure.
Yes.
And to cut it down on expenditure now, at least you will not have to go. I mean, you would not have to go borrowing. Senabeya who can be cost rubium. But we are in crisis. But he just told us, Sikana 750 million now. Africa Exim Bank. That is the Africa Export and Import Bank. They hope to go and get loan from no. It is to finance certain expenditures.
Yes, capital project, he says.
And Namiki. Meanwhile, we are going to IMF to tell them, say, yeah, the programs be bro. Uko IMF, you go with what they call letter of intent.
Yes.
And you are accompanied with a memorandum of policies, economic policies. And those policies, largely, the objects in say you reduce your deficits and cut down on your borrowing. Mostly, these are the policies that inform the memorandum of what you call IMF on them. So, to try and cut down on expenditures. Now, so before going there, in order to finance existing expenditures. Meanwhile, we could shield them until we come out of this crisis. As when say we are in a crisis situation. These are not normal times. We are in a crisis situation. Until your actions, your policies should reflect the situation you are in right now. And kana yedi kan boy bebrena they were debt with debt. Debt with debt kabia oboa it cannot help finance itself. So what would akoye adwuma bia you cannot get proceeds from it in order to finance and service the debt obligations you've incurred through borrowing no. Until a lot of the debt I incur no na debt with debt. Until a car we have to go find money from elsewhere to come and pay. And idea akodu sa pempensui. Until me my dream no. If somebody is saying, say, oh, government could take care of salaries and other things, but where they were just meant for capital expenditure, because our reserves have gone down. And as a show up reserves in kakra. But you see, the circle, we are going to incur, eco finance other expenditures. We are going to the IMF to tell them, say, oh, from Eneco, we are going to restrict ourselves from incurring and from engaging such expenditures. Me doing one because IMF ayekoi sebi enye sika no kekeo enye sika no nko
okay.
Because sika no at the end of the day $3 billion.
Yeah.
Because we share your quota now, you are given it doesn't matter which program you go for. Usually you are given sika no according to your quota. And your quota as at the last check I think stood around 700 million SDRs, which if you translate into cedis is into dollars is a little over 1 billion. But yet Timao exceed quota up to a certain point. But Entimin 3 billion no.
Okay.
And Tisikaya Koji at the end of the day is going to add to our existing debt. Nti already debt servicing. We sikani na ye bobisi afufuro if somebody tells me say is not to pay salaries and to take care of other obligations if it's just to do ne anchor me assure say they are smart enough to know say you are already in a hole. You don't dig the hole further. But because you maybe have statutory obligations they can't honor. That's my thinking and that's my feeling. And that yanko jisasikana
I take Mohammed any in Kano. Ekosiisen higher Sempa FM.